What's up, 180 Fit? All right, we're going to talk about 7 strategies to prevent a relapse. And I figure it's only fitting that I talk about preventing a relapse and talking about how to break bad habits and going on series on that. And then I'm thinking, well, hey, there might be some people who have broken bad habits. And this is prime for us all to fall back into old patterns, old ways that none of us want to. I mean, it's so easy with stress high. This is happening during COVID-19. We're stuck at home in 2020, depending on when you watch or listen to this. And so I want us to actually be able to talk about what we can do to prevent a relapse, and as well as what happens if we actually fall into a relapse and how we can get back out of that. And so know that you're not alone. Like, if you are struggling with old habits, old ways, if you find yourself going back to old temptations, you are not alone during this time. It is so common, and it's something very, very common that I'm talking to people with. It's something that I've even had to watch and safeguard myself against during this time. So it's okay if you're struggling. It's not okay not to do something about it and just to put our head in the sand, right? And so relapse is a term usually used in talking about alcohol and drugs. However, I want to understand that it can be applied to any habit out there. So maybe you stuck to your diet for weeks and then overindulged because you're stuck at home and you've been mindlessly eating. Maybe you went 10 years without even a cigarette, but then you've been home and you went back to that way as a coping mechanism. Maybe you doing well dealing with an eating disorder, and now that you're stressed and you don't have control over things, you're falling back into it. So remember, the ultimate success in developing healthy habits is more important than any backsliding, okay? And so these are suggestions to prevent and recover from relapse. But let's first talk about preventing a relapse and the key things there. So think of a relapse as part of a process rather than an unpredictable event. If you pay attention to what you're thinking, feeling, you may be able to avoid the setback, or at least catch yourself right at the beginning stages of it. And so number one, the first technique I would say is deal with emotions. Your feelings ultimately are typically the first sign that you're headed for a fall. Accepting your anger, sadness will help you find a new and more constructive ways of managing them. And really, all addictions, I find that it is out of avoidance of us dealing with emotions. We either don't know how to deal with them, we've never been taught, we avoid them, scare those emotions, we're taught they're bad, they're not okay. There's lots of reasons that we might try to avoid those emotions, but you have to know how to deal with your emotions in a healthy way. And that was my biggest battleground for the longest time, is that I didn't know how to deal with emotions. I never let myself feel. I just would always think to myself, well, I'll just get over it and keep going, Jen. Like, get over it. Like, keep happy face on and just go. And I stuffed. And that was coming out in many negative, bad ways from my own addictions and eating disorders and control and all that kind of thing. And it was leading me down a disastrous path until I learned to actually take ownership for my emotions and deal with them and realize what I needed to do in order to process them in a healthy way, and not one that would ever hold me back, but actually allowed me to thrive forward. And so let me pause here. If you're someone who does not know how to deal with your emotions, if this is you, reach out to me immediately, because you need to know how to deal with your emotions. You will stay forever stuck and forever going back to the same place. Either even with emotional eating, you keep going back, grabbing that ice cream, because you have not dealt with the emotions behind it. You haven't dealt with the true source of the problem. And we can never move from being stuck to authentic thriving if we don't deal with the source. And a lot of times that source is a lot of buried emotions. And so reach out to me. I'm here for you. Also, if you are dealing with emotions, you have no one to talk to, reach out to me, because this is where this is number one, where your downfall could happen. Because there's a lot of emotions going on right now. Maybe you feel like you have to be the one that's in charge, and you're the one that's having to be their support, and that I'm the one that has to be steady, Jen, for everyone else. I can't deal with my emotions. Yes, you better. In some way, or maybe not to the full extent of everything you're feeling, but in some way you need to be able to talk them through with somebody and have that support. And so that brings me into number two. Build support. Surround yourself, family, friends who encourage you and give you useful feedback. Let them know how they can help you. You might want to ask your certain, even search for certain support groups in the community if they have some online forums right now. If you've been through AA or NA or something, any of those, and you can reach back out to those communities. I know they have a lot of online stuff going on right now. Find a way that you can have that support, or find it through, reach out to me and let me get you some support. I'm looking at establishing some support groups, actually, where you're actually part of a group and we meet once a week, and we support one another on the journey of establishing better micro habits to lead us up in life. So, there's options out there for you, and I want to help you if I can, if you don't have that in your life. Number 3, know your triggers. You sometimes need to limit contact with old friends who engage in the habit you're trying to break. So, certain places and situations also make it vulnerable to relapsing. Luckily, we really don't have the places right now, but really those friends. I know myself even. I've been very lonely. And I've been very, very tempted to contact some people who were toxic for me in the past. And I cannot have in my life just to have somebody. Sometimes you just want somebody to talk to, somebody to care, those kind of things. And so know that they were not worth it then. They're not worth it now, because if you reach out to them now, they're just going to tear you down and bring you down. And remember, you work too hard to get where you are. Number 4, wait it out. What if you have an urge for a shopping spree, you're an urge to go for that ice cream? Try waiting 5 to 10 minutes and see if it passes. It's a quick solution that often works. And I would say in those 5-10 minutes, find something else to do. Okay, fold that laundry. Maybe you're avoiding something. A lot of times we'll go to the habits, right? Because I'll have this to eat. I'll look for this item to shop for. I'll do this because I don't really want to fold that load of laundry or whatever it is, or check that email, or respond to that phone call. Wherever it is, deal with what you need to and wait everything out and then see if it passes. Number 5, seek moderation. Being too strict can often backfire as well. So a restrictive diet makes junk food look more tempting, okay? Allowing yourself a low-calorie dessert or that, I always say, Saturday always needs to come. So allow yourself to have Saturday night where you can have whatever you want. That way you're not avoiding, it's not a no. Or find out, speak to me. I'm a nutrition coach, so I will help you set up on exactly what your diet should look like. And that's with having, I'm somebody who comes from the philosophy you should have zero food should be off limits. Now, it's not that maybe rather than having, six cookies in a sitting, maybe you get to have 2 throughout the day or something. So it's what you get to have. It's not what you don't get to have. When we look at diet and when we look at nutrition, it's for your energy flow. And so this is what you get to have with your energy flow. And these are your splurges you get to have. It's up to you when you have your splurges. But just know that this is the allotment that your energy flow allows. And this is how you're going to feel best with your health. So reach out to me if you would like some help on that nutrition coaching, because I got you. Focus on consequences. Number 6, before you take a step backwards, think through what happened. Is wasting time on, they say, on social media, causing you trouble at work? Are you being home now working? Maybe your downfall is a new habit. Maybe you find yourself on social media more than you should be. Or, think about, is that one cigarette worth how long it took you to get off that? Is that one hit, worth how long and how hard you fought to get off that? Is that one binge of just the massive amounts of food worth it for how long it took you to develop good habits? Is that one time of, really starting to starve yourself again, or to binge and throw up, whatever it is, are those things worth it now with how hard you work to get off of that things? And of course, number 7, practice self-care. Protecting, your physical and mental wellness is essential for reaching your goals. Eat sensible amount of foods, exercise regularly, and make sleep priority 2. I can't stress, have yourself a schedule, have yourself a way that you set yourself up every day for success. And that way you know that, I'm getting up. It looks different than maybe when I was going to work and away from everything, but I still have that structure and that routine to my day. So I'm set up for success. And if I follow this, I'm going to be okay. And then I have these things. I know when my emotions get high. I know what I need to do. When my triggers happen, I know I have people to reach out to. Set yourself up for success. Okay, and let's say maybe we're already in this, so maybe you already had a relapse. Okay, recovering from relapse is not too late to prevent relapse. Okay, you can still turn things around if you started falling into something, but that slip up behind you and keep building on the progress you've already made, because you've already been making some progress. Take these actions to get back on track. Number 1, face the truth. I always say, look in the mirror and be brutally honest with yourself. You have to be. It can be difficult to admit that you've relapsed, but be honest with yourself and take accountability for your decisions. Who's your accountability group? Who are the people that you surround yourself with? that you can go and be honest with, that say, hey, I have backslidden, like I need help hold me accountable. There's people in your life who want to be there for you. I guarantee you. If you don't have anyone, once again, reach out to me. I'm here for you. Number 2, remember your purpose. It may help to think about the original reasons you made the change in your life. They may be so compelling that you'd be ready to try again, or you may find another source of motivation. One of the best things I've ever done in my life is when I decided to make major changes to some, addictive ways in my life, was at that time that I was making those changes, I wrote a letter to myself. So that way, whenever I'd want to go back or whenever I would want to not follow through on my recovery plan, I'd read that letter. And it was just a brutal, honest letter to myself as to why I would never go back to that place and what life was truly like and why I didn't want that to be stealing from me, was robbing from me. So if you've never done that, that might be a really good thing for you to do. Because I think it's powerful when you can read your own words from back when you were like massively stuck and at your wit's end. Number 3, forgive yourself. Be kind and compassionate toward yourself, especially while you're struggling. Use your self-talk to boost your confidence. Let go of the past and concentrate on what you can for today. Listen to the story that you're telling yourself. Are you beginning to replay tapes in your mind from the past that used to beat you down, tell you couldn't change, or this is just who you are, this is who you'll always be? All those kind of lies can really hinder us so much, and they can come back and play, and we have to catch them and rewrite that story. Number 4, break it down. Try to make lifelong commitments seem overwhelming. So pick a time frame that's realistic. You might aim to sustain your new habit for a single day or even an hour. There are times where I'm like, hour by hour, minute by minute. You just have to make it through the next minute. Just have to make it through the next 10 minutes. I just have to make it through the next 30 minutes. And it really helps, like, setting that timer. I just have to focus on the next minute. Like, and there are those times that you have to do that. Like, even when, coming back from relapse, even when you're trying to avoid a relapse, there are times when you're like, okay, I know I want to slip and fall, but I just have to focus on the next minute. Like, I got this. Just focus on something else for that minute. Just focus just during this movie or whatever it is, during this task or during this project, but set yourself up. Don't say, I need to make it through this entire, next year. Look at what you can. And take action. Number 5, regain momentum by taking a positive step forward immediately. Remember, the only time we're truly stuck is when we stop. Okay? As long as we're moving one foot in front of the other, we're moving. Like, if you're trying to stop overspending, leave your credit cards, with your spouse, maybe leave them in a drawer, maybe leave them locked away in a safe, unless you or have already planned out you're going to spend it. If you want to cut down complaining, maybe you when you complain, start a gratitude journal, and every time you get yourself complaining, you have to write 3 things that you're grateful for. That works. But think of relapse as a learning opportunity to help you find out more about yourself, because it's really discovery into ourselves, and there's a reason why we go back to that, right? So each time, you temporarily lose your ground, you gain more insights into what you need to do to make positive changes in your life. And maybe it's kind of like an onion, we think that we're doing things for this reason. And then as we start peeling it, we realize there's deeper and deeper meaning to it. And so as we can find the core of the issue, eventually, hopefully we're going to go to that root, that core that keeps us bringing us back. That's where true healing comes. But sometimes it doesn't come all at once, because when we're in the midst of the initial time that we're like, okay, I need to make changes, it's so necessary that we haven't focused on the deeper meaning to it. We're dealing with an emergency situation and the emergency feelings, and those are good. This maybe got us through the first bit, but where are those really core reasons? And every time we fall back or we find ourselves tempted, so the time to take out our journal and go, okay, what am I feeling? What just happened? What are my thoughts here? What are the lies? What are the truths? What could I do to change this? And where did this come from? Like, is this something from childhood? Is this something from the present? Where did this come from? Like, where is this emotion, this feeling, and all these thoughts coming from? And actually digging in deep there and figuring out why we do what we do. It's so important. There's a history to why we do what we do, and we can't blame ourselves for it, because a lot of times we weren't at fault, maybe when it happened in our childhood, but we can't keep living in self-pity and letting that be the excuse. We have to take power, and we are empowered to overcome and to take that and deal with it in a healthy way now. Maybe when we were a kid, we couldn't because we didn't know how. Maybe we were just surviving, right? Or maybe even adults. Sometimes I know myself in abusive relationships, I was just surviving. I couldn't think about, what to actually do and deal with these things reasonably. I was just trying to survive. And so, but now I can say, okay, I am in control of what I think and what I choose to believe, and things I put, right? Wherever I bring into my life, the perspective I hold, like I've said before, I've heard this, and it was so powerful. It's either a prison or a power, right? Prison is a place, it's a cage, it's something that keeps us as a noun. Power, what is action. Is when we take action to do something with it, that it becomes power, and we can actually make it something good, turn out something really bad and ugly. So if you need a 180, if you need some help doing any of that, that's what I'm here for, your holistic empowerment coach. Make sure you reach out to me. I am 180fit at gogenfitness.com. It's in the show notes. I'm always here to help you. I want to see you thrive in life. I don't want to see you get stuck. So don't feel stuck. Know that what you're feeling, where you are, is okay. But we need to do something about it if you recognize it. And don't backslide. And if you have, follow those things. Allow me to help you out. Get that support system around you. You're worth so much more than being stuck in some kind of thing that's holding you back in life, because you're never going to truly thrive unless we deal with it and get rid of it. So know that I believe in you, and I'm here for you all the way. And make sure if you like what you hear, make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. Share it with others so I get my message out there. And as always, be brave, be kind, live authentically, and always shine, tribe. Until next time.